Philadelphia 76ers last season, were completely underwhelming. The pieces built on this team were put in place to contend for a championship. However, the Sixers last season fell to a record of 24-58. With injuries hampering their season, the Sixers fell well short of their expectations. Paul George, the star acquisition during the 2024 offseason for the Philadelphia 76ers, earned himself a 4-year, $211 million contract. He saw a damaged year with injuries despite having a healthier season last season with the Clippers playing 74 games. Last year's offseason was headlined with players such as OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, James Harden, LeBron James, and Paul George. George's struggles with injuries, particularly his groin, finger, and ankle injuries, only saw him play 41 games this past season. This has put him in an incredibly tough position to start his stint with the Sixers. Getting acclimated with a new team can be tough. As proof, the players who re-signed with their team during free agency saw an increase in standardized player efficiency rating of 0.15, whilst players who changed teams saw a decrease in SPER by 0.68. So a drop-off in player performance after signing with the new team is not uncommon. However, due to the sum of his contract, the Sixers should expect to see some improvement. I would have said it's looking up for Paul George after being shut down last season, allowing for some adequate time to rest before his comeback season next year. However, as of the 15th of July, Shams reported that Paul George underwent surgery on his left knee and will be re-evaluated before training camp. This will hopefully not put a detriment to the start of his season. Taking a look at the contract breakdown here for the 76ers, next season they have $11 million to the first apron and $23 million to the second apron. Now, this is all without Quentin Grimes re-signing, and as of this video being made, he has not re-signed as of yet, but he is a restricted free agent. We can see Joel Embiid and Paul George's player options finish on 27-28 and 28-29. This will allow adequate integration of their future with their now. As VJ Edgecombe is eligible for an extension, and his extension period will be from 29 to 30, and Jared McCain's will be 28 to 29. When Jared McCain earns his extension, the Sixers will be off the Paul George contract, and when VJ Edgecombe earns his contract, Joel Embiid will be off his contract should the Sixers choose to extend these two players. As I mentioned, the Sixers are in a decent spot of integrating their now with their future. This is shown with, although having 3 max contract players next season, they do have multiple good young pieces under good contracts, such as McCain with $4 million this year, VJ Edgecombe with $11 million this year, Trenton Warford, who they recently signed for $2.5 million, Justin Edwards, who they recently re-signed to a 3-year deal with $2 million this year, Adem Bona, who played key roles while Joel Embiid was out last season, just under $2 million, as well as their second-round pick, Janai Broome, who could hopefully see some minutes during the later end of the season should there be any injuries. Taking a look at my depth chart for the Sixers next season, we can see their youth really comes to life within their rotation. I have Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Quentin Grimes, Paul George, and Joel Embiid all ranked as heavily important players. Although Kelly Oubre is in the starting lineup, he can be very interchangeable with some of these other pieces off the bench, such as bringing Jared McCain in to another guard spot and moving Grimes to the wing, or moving Edgecombe to a wing, or later on in the season, move Justin Edwards up to the starting spot if Kelly Oubre is to get traded. I value Kelly Oubre, Justin Edwards, Trenton Walford, and Adem Bonner as important rotation pieces heading into next season. VJ Edgecombe, Janai Broom are both ungraded, as Stephen Alves from Sports Business Classroom and the Pelicans scout said to never grade rookies to where you think they will be at the start of the season. Wait till you have time to see them until you can grade them. Andre Drummond will be a solid piece, but not internally important going long term, as well as Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, who don't fit the mold, being some of the older guys who won't see as many rotational minutes this season. The end of the bench, we've got Hunter Sailors, Dominic Barlow, and Jabari Walker, who are all signed on two-way contracts for the next season of the Sixers. The Sixers have left open one final roster spot for after Quentin Grimes hopefully signs. Just a few quick notes from this roster summary player breakdown chart. I believe the guards of the Sixers should look to improve their defensive capabilities, although their young exuberance does bring that currently to the table. The wings of the Sixers need to be taking on big defensive assignments as well as improving their offensive consistency. This was especially seen with Paul George last season, how although his health hindered his season, his consistency as a scorer wasn't there compared to his previous seasons with the Clippers. The bigs for the Sixers are struggling with rim defending at the moment. Although previously, Joel Embiid has been an incredible rim defender, since his injury history, he has not had the same athleticism, and therefore his rim defending has been off the last couple of years. Equally as important, Adem Bonner needs to focus on staying out of foul trouble, as when Joel Embiid will likely be injured during the season, his ability to stay on the floor will be heavily important. Lastly, some metrics for the Sixers last season. As you can see, their steals and turnover percentage was really high, ranking 3rd in defensive turnover percentage and 5th in steals per game. This is to be expected from Nick Nurse-led team. However, their effective field goal percentage from oppositions was ranked dead last in the league, which is a room for improvement. Some negatives include their rebounding percentage. They ranked dead last in the league for total rebounds per game with 39.8, as well as worst in the league for defensive rebounding percentage. The struggles continued on the offensive end as they ranked 27th in three-point percentage, as well as 26th in points per game. This is how I can see the Sixers lineup progressing throughout the year. So we've got Maxey as a point guard here, Joel as a center of the offense down here, Caleb Martin, who will push out down here, who I believe will be Jared McCain in this spot. Paul George remain the same, and VJ Edgecombe will take Kelly Oubre's spot. So you can see as the play progresses, Joel Embiid comes with that high ball screen, and Kelly Oubre, who will be VJ Edgecombe, is playing that dunker spot. Where Caleb Martin is will allow Jared McCain to get open looks for three-pointers should Porzingis or any other defender have to help. As this progresses, you can see Kelly Oubre in that dunker's lane down there, ready to drive if Tatum comes up to help. And as you can see, it doesn't take much for Maxey to get up an open shot when Joel is feeding him the ball. This play is an example of what I was referring to with the Sixers being good in the passing lanes. You can see Maxey takes Tatum up here, who then has to back him down. Maxey, with his youth, is able to just swipe at the ball and be electric. Even if he's not an incredibly positive defender, he is able to make Jason Tatum make a rush decision, and that's where Paul George is able to pick off the pass. So you can see he's clamped down on Luke Kornet here, who is trying to gain this spot while Joel is in the help position, but George does a good job of denying him that spot. But it's the alertness from Paul George that makes this jump for pass possible. As you can see, he's still latched on Kornet, and as Tatum's about to make the pass, he pushes off him, allows Joel to gain that spot if that pass comes to Kornet, and George is able to jump out and get the pass before he gets to Jaylen Brown. This is an example of where Philly's defense needs to improve. Just before this play, Tyrese Maxey scores the layup and is down out off the play. So you can see rolling the clip, Paul George turns his head there. He should recognise that Tyrese is out of the play and leaves the trail player, in which case is Derek White, for Maxey to pick up and instead shift to Jason Tatum. This is ball watching here from Kelly Oubre, who just watches Jaylen Brown and allows Kornet to go right by him. Although he may say his defender is Jason Tatum, that should have been Paul George's assignment to push across. And even if so, Kelly Oubre should push back with Kornet and allow Maxey to pick up Tatum, seeing he's trailing. So then the laziness and the ball watching turns Luke Kornet for a wide open layup, who finishes it and one. Whilst the Sixers were underwhelming last season, their youth, with Jared McCain and VJ Edgecombe, can hopefully push them towards a playoff spot next year. With VJ Edgecombe being a new addition to this team and Jared McCain hopefully seeing a full year, there is plenty of excitement to go around this team. This, mixed with the presence of a hopefully healthier PG and Joel Embiid, should help elevate this team to a playoff contender.